Okay, we're gonna go, my fellow hobbits and elves and orcs, dwarves too. But anyway, okay, guys, we're on book two. The two towers. Uh, we've completed book one, the Fellowship of the Ring, and then we're on book two, the Two Towers, both written by JRR Tolkien. Um, the second book within the trilogy of the Lord of the Rings. So let's go ahead and we're going to dive into chapter one of book two, The Two Towers, called Many Meetings. I'm on page 219, and it'll be about 20 pages. 20 pages. Well, we'll see how much we'll get through today. But other than that, I'm excited. Uh, we may have a visitor in this one. But okay, but anyway, let's go ahead and let's get started. Okay. Frodo woke and found himself lying in bed. At first he thought that he had slept late after a long unpleasant dream that still hovered on the edge of memory. Or perhaps he had been ill. But the ceiling looked strange. It was flat. And it had dark beams richly carved. He lay a little while longer, looking at patches of sunlight on the wall and listening to the sound of a waterfall. Where am I? And what is the time? He said aloud to the ceiling. In the house of Elrod. It is 10 o'clock in the morning, said a voice. It is the morning of October the 24th, if you want to know. Gandalf, cried Frodo, sitting up. There was the old wizard sitting in a chair by the open window. Yes, he said, I am here, and you are lucky to be here, too, after all the absurd things you have done since you left home. Frodo lay down again. I felt too comfortable and peaceful to argue. In any case, he did not think that he would get the better of an argument. He was fully awake now, and the memory of his journey was returning. The disastrous shortcut through the old forest, the accident at the Prancing Pony, and the madness in putting on the ring in the dell under Weathertop. While he was thinking of all these things and trying in vain to bring his memory down to his arriving in Rivendell, there was a long silence, broken only by the soft puffs of Gandalf's pipe as he blew white smoke rings out of the window. Where's Sam? Frodo asked at length. And are the others all right? Yes, they are all safe and sound, answered Gandalf. Sam was here until I sent him off to get some rest, about half an hour ago. What happened at the ford? Said Frodo. It all seems so dim somehow, and it still does. Yes, it would. You were beginning to fade, answered Gandalf. The wound was overcoming you at last. A few more hours and you would have been beyond our aid. But you have some strength in you, my dear hobbit. As you showed in the barrow, that was touch and go, perhaps the most dangerous moment of all. I wish you could have held out at Weathertop. You seem to know a great deal already, said Frodo. I have not spoken to the others about the barrow. At, at first, it was too horrible, and afterwards, there were other things to think about. How do you know about it? You have talked long in your sleep, Frodo, said Gandalf gently. And it has not been hard for me to read your mind and memory. Do not worry. Though I said absurd just now, I did not mean it. I think well of you and of the others. It is no small feat to have come so far and through such dangers still bearing the ring. We should never have done it without Strider, said Frodo, but we needed you. I did not know what to do without you. I was delayed, said Gandalf, and that nearly proved our ruin. And yet, I am not sure. It may have been better so. I wish you would tell me what happened. All in good time. You are not supposed to talk or worry about anything today by Elrod's orders. But talking would stop me thinking and wondering, which are quite as tiring, said Frodo. I am wide awake now, and I remember so many things that want explaining. Why were you delayed? You ought to tell me that at least. Well, you will soon hear all you wish to know, said Gandalf. We shall have a council as soon as you are well enough. At the moment, I will only say that I was held captive. You, cried Frodo. Yes, I, Gandalf the Grey, said the wizard solemnly. There are many powers in the world, for good or for evil. Some are greater than I am. Against some, I have not yet been measured. But my time is coming. The immortal Lord and his black riders have come forth. War is preparing. Then you knew of the riders already. Before I met them, yes, I knew of them. Indeed, I spoke of them once to you, for the black riders are the ring wraiths, the 9 servants of the Lord of the Rings. But I did not know that they had arisen again, or I should have fled with you at once. I heard news of them only after I left you in June. But that story must wait. For the moment we have been saved from disaster by Aragorn. Yes, said Frodo. It was Strider that saved us, and yet I was afraid of him at first. Sam never quite trusted him. I think not at any rate until we met Glorfindel. Gandalf smiled. I have heard all about Sam, he said. He has no more doubts now. I am glad, said Frodo, for I have become very fond of Strider. Well, fond is not the right word. I mean, he is dear to me, though he is strange and grim at times. In fact, he reminds me often of you. I didn't know that any of the big people were like that. I thought, well, that we were just big and rather stupid. Kind of stupid like Butterbur, or stupid like and wicked like Bill Ferny. But then we don't know much about men in the Shire, except perhaps the Braylanders and You don't know much even about them. If you think old Barlaam is stupid, said Gandalf, he is wise enough on his own ground. He thinks less than he talks, and slower, and yet he can see through a brick wall in time, as they say in Bray. But there are a few left in Middle Earth, like Aragorn, son of Arathorn, the race of the kings from over the sea is nearly at an end. It may be that this War of the Ring will be their last adventure. Do you really mean that Strider is one of the people of the old kings? Said Frodo in wonder. I thought they had all vanished long ago. I thought he was only a ranger. Only a ranger? Cried Gandalf. My dear Frodo, that is just what the rangers are. The last remnant in the north of the great people, the men of the west. They have helped me before, and I shall need their help in the days to come. For we have reached Rivendell, but the ring is not yet at rest. I suppose not, said Frodo, but so far my only thought has been to get here. And I hope I shan't have to go any further. It is very pleasant just to rest. I have had a month of exile and adventure, and I find that has been as much as I want. He fell silent and shut his eyes. After a while he spoke again. I have been reckoning, he said, and I can't bring the total up to October the 24th. It ought to be the 21st. We must have reached the ford by the 20th. You have talked and reckoned more than is good for you, said Randolph. How do the side and shoulder feel now? I don't know, Frodo answered. They don't feel at all, which is an improvement, but he made an effort. I can move my arm again a little. Yes, it is coming back to life. It is not cold, he added, touching his left hand to the right. Good, said Gandalf. It is mending fast. You will soon be sound again. Elrod has cured you. He has tended you for days, ever since you were brought in. Days, said Frodo. Well, 4 nights and 3 days to be exact. The elves brought you from the ford on the night of the 20th, and that is where you lost count. We have been terribly anxious, and Sam has hardly left your side, day or night, except to run messages. Elrod is a master of healing, but the weapons of our enemy are deadly. To tell you the truth, I had very little hope, for I suspected that there was some fragment of the blade still in the closed wound, but it could not be found until last night. And then Elrod removed a splinter. It was deeply buried, and it was working inwards. Frodo shuddered, remembering the cruel knife with notched blade that had vanished into Strider's hands. "Don't be alarmed," said Gandalf. "It is gone now. It has been melted, and it seems that hobbits fade very reluctantly. I have known strong warriors of the big people who would quickly have been overcome by that splinter, which you bore for 17 days. 17 days. Then what would they have done to me?" asked Frodo. "What were the riders trying to do?" "They tried to pierce your heart with a Morgul knife, which remains in the wound. If they had succeeded, you would have become like they are, only weaker and under their command. You would have become a wrath under the dominion of the Dark Lord, and he would have tormented you for trying to keep his ring. If any great torment were possible, than being robbed of it and seeing it on his hand. Thank goodness I did not realize the horrible danger," said Frodo faintly. "I was mortally afraid, of course, but if I had known more, I should not have dared even to move. It is a marvel that I escaped." "Yes, fortune or fate, I have helped you," said Gandalf, "not to mention courage, for your heart was not touched. Only your shoulder was pierced. And that was because you resisted to the last. But it was a terrible narrow shave, so to speak. So, so to speak. You were in gravest peril while you wore the ring. For then you were half in the wrath world yourself, and they might have seized you. If you could see them, and they could see you." "I know," said Frodo. "They were terrible to behold, and why could we all see their horses?" "Because they are real horses. They are just the black robes or real robes that they wear to give shape to their nothingness when they have dealings with the living." "Then why do these black horses endure such riders? All other animals are terrified when they draw near. Even the elf horse of Glorfindel, the dogs howl and the geese scream at them, because these horses are born and bred to the service of the Dark Lord in Mordor. Not all his servants and chattels are rats. There are orcs and trolls. There are wargs and werewolves, and there have been, as still are many men, warriors, and kings that walk alive under the sun and yet are under his sway. And their number is growing daily. What about Rivendell and the elves? Is Rivendell safe?" "Yes, at present, until all else is conquered. The elves may fear the Dark Lord, and they may fly before them, but never again will they listen to him or serve him. And here in Rivendell there live still some of his chief foes, the elven wise, the lords of the Eldor, from beyond the furthest seas. They do not fear the ring wraths, for those who have dwelt in the blessed realm lived at once in both worlds, and against both the seen and unseen they have great power." I thought that I saw a white figure that shone and did not grow dim like the others. Was that Glorfidel then? Yes, you saw him for a moment, as he is upon the other side. One of the mighty of the firstborn. He is an elf lord of the house of princes. Indeed, there is a power in Rivendell to withstand the might of Mordor for a while, and elsewhere other powers still dwell. Yet, there is power too of another kind in the Shire. But all such places will soon become islands under siege. If things go on as they are going, the Dark Lord is putting forth all his strength.